Thanks very much, Hannah. Do you recognize this person? Yeah, it's Sally. Holy cow. Up next, we're going to dish Survivor dirt with the latest cast-off, so we'll be right back. Well, last night on Survivor Exile Island, Terry and Sally scrambled to win over some former Kasayas, but in the end, they were not able to prevent the inevitable from happening at Tribal Council.
I don't want to go yet.
Then it's up to you to either get Courtney, Danielle, or Sari to come over, and one of us would have to win the next challenge.
It's most advantageous for us to break up this strong six as soon as possible and watch them unravel and watch them scurry a bit. Otherwise, I'm gone.
If Courtney does not sway tonight, I may or may not give the immunity idol to Sally. If it has to come into play, it will.
And Sally Schumann is with us this morning. Good player. Congratulations. But was there any real conversation with Terry about, I'll give you the immunity idol, let's see if there's some way we can work this out and try and at least, well, you wouldn't have the votes to flip on the other tribe, right?
Yeah, we talked about it for the last, few days, even back when Nick and Austin were there, when it would be most advantageous. And I think Terry wanted to try and keep us all together, and he needed us for numbers as well.
Yeah.
But
because he's alone now, that's for sure.
And he's kind of been on the chopping block, and so if there was a time to play it, it would have been great last night.
Did you feel like you were getting any traction with that other, with those other folks? Because it would have been advantageous for one or two of them to try and at least break away and go to a Final Four with you and Terry.
The thing is last night, at the point where Terry and I were together, if two people would have flipped, it would have been the best time for them to flip, because then it would have been an even 4. Yeah. If Austin was still around, it would have been a 3 and 2. Yeah. I think Bruce was close, and then he needed somebody else to come with. So.
So interesting. We have a secret scene that has not been thus far seen by anyone in the entire universe, and we want to play that right now.
Guaranteed final 3. Last talk here. I need to know now. Guaranteed final 3. I need Sally in there. I need the answer. It's gonna be crazy if you turn it down.
Come on, give me a break. Don't be like that to me.
Bruce is definitely, she hasn't committed yet, but I might have to pull the thing out. She says she'll be on our side.
Is that worth it to you?
Well, it gives us numbers.
If it isn't, I understand. You know what I'm saying?
I want you to go home.
If it comes to that and she says, right before we leave, I can't do this, don't pull it out for me.
That was a nice thing to say. Courtney would have been a very good candidate because she's not well liked within that tribe. Well, anyway. You always wanted to be on this show.
I have.
Right? How many times did you go to them and say, please pick me?
That was my 5th.
Your 5th time?
5th time is a charm.
Yeah. What was the experience like for you? You now weigh, 30 pounds more than, because you look terrific now, but you weigh 30 pounds more than when you were on Survivor?
Yeah, I think so, about 30. So the experience for me, different, being a big fan and wondering what it would be like to go out there and build alliances, I never felt like I had an alliance ever. I felt like I connected with a lot of people, and when the merge happened, I stuck sort of with the Lamina guys, but if at any point I would have
you were an outsider with that boys club.
Right. Yeah. If I would have had the opportunity to flip over with anybody, I would have. And so I feel pretty proud about the fact that not having an alliance to have made it as far as I did. When you look back at the people who have already left, and so many of them had alliances, I feel like it was a very individual game for me.
Well, I'll tell you, you did so well in so many of those challenges, immunity challenges, you and Terry and maybe one of the other guys in a lot of them. I mean, physically, you certainly kept up with everybody.
Yeah, that was a big draw for me in the show, and the competition part of it, that was one of the highlights, being out there. No matter how tired and, bored you were, as soon as we knew we were going to have a competition, I'd get up for it.
You were not prepared for just how little food and water was out there, were you?
I don't think there's any way you can be prepared. I mean, I've always been blessed to go to bed with a full stomach, so to be that hungry for me,
Oh, excuse me. Oh, by the way, who was the one who lost the fishing spear early in the show?
I did, and lucky for me, I was given some mercy, and that didn't end my game. But again,
I will never forget seeing that. What was that, week 1, week 2? That thing.
we just won it. It was our big prize.
Oh, man. That could have made a difference nutrition-wise. In the end, you used to coach soccer, right?
I did.
And what did you used to tell your kids?
Just to dig deep and to fight hard and never to quit and go out with class and character. So I'm hoping that my soccer players, if they're watching, were proud of me and felt like I did well.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Well, you did well.
Thank you.
Good to meet you. Sally Schumann, thanks.